Alright, so I actually made this video a few minutes ago, but I was not able to upload it because of some issues. So, yeah, let's start again. Hi, everyone. I know it's been quite a while. I know some of you might be waiting for me to drop music. Many of you didn't even care. So, to be honest, it's been quite a while since I dropped any song. The last song that I dropped was in fucking July. Yeah, and that's when I dropped my EP. So more of it later. Let me just address the elephant in the room. So I've been depressed. That's something that I've stated. Like I have made songs about it, and I have actually even fucking made a Facebook post about it when Sushant Singh Rajput died, and I thought that might be a great time for people to to let people know that mental health is actually important, and it's not that uncommon for people to be depressed. In fact, it's the people around you that are most of the time are depressed. I myself am a jolly person. I am a really jolly person. I am actually you know cracking jokes half of the time, but there's always a dark side to the moon, right? So anyway, shit just started a while ago. Like, this year was toxic in itself. Like, there is no denying that, but everything started with me about last year. I mean, a year ago, more than a year ago, to be honest. When my grandfather died, that's when shit started. So my father was actually really sick at that time, and nobody in my family knows, but I saw him faint when we went to a medical store to get him some medicines and all that stuff. So I saw him faint, and I'm the only person in my family who knew about it. So I knew shit was quite critical at that time. However, things started to seem a little normal, as time passed. And during my grandfather's death, like between his death and Tervi, I wrote a song called "Need Some Sleep," which gave me the idea for my EP. Now, so I was like, all right, I can make something out of it. I can make a whole project out of it. So then I did Level Up, which was supposed to be Pride. Need Some Sleep was supposed to be Sloth, obviously. Level Up was supposed to be Pride. Then I did Wrath, which was Don't Act in Vain, which is in a play on the acronym, or the name of my school, DAV. So Don't Act in Vain. There is that. And it was around the time when I dropped that Don't Act in Vain. Initially, like in the beginning of this year, 2020, when my father's health, it went really south. So I remember he had to go through a biopsy, and somebody had to wake up, whole night just to make sure that he doesn't turn around that much. So that's when I wrote Men Don't Cry, when I was not able to sleep, when I was not allowed to sleep. And I couldn't even sleep, to be honest, at that time. That's when I wrote Men Don't Cry. And that shit is, to this date, most personal thing that I've ever written. I've written things that are more personal than that, but I still feel it till this day. And many people have, I still get many people. Shout out to Mohit. He has been, recommended people that particular song, and in fact, he has sent me multiple screenshots. When that song has been in his playlist, he has been playing it, or he, is suggesting it to other people and all that. So yeah, shout out to my brother. So that's when I wrote Men Don't Cry. And after that, what did I write? Men Don't Cry, I guess it was then I wrote a song for Lust, which was supposed to be called Love, you know. And what else was there? Lust was then Eat Sleep Netflix came out, I wrote Money because I wanted to do something with greed, and I really want to give a shout out to Watts because he actually gave me a beat. Beat was really dope. I had a verse, written to it, but it was that time, when I started to realize I am not able to write properly. Like, yeah, I tried to write on that beat. Although I love that beat, I couldn't, put words. I couldn't fit words into it. And I myself am a, biggest critic of myself. I don't give a fuck what other people says, because many people say that I am not able to rhyme words. Although I always try to rhyme as many words as possible, and just because they didn't see it rhyming in the lyrics, and they didn't care to hear the music, they just read the lyrics. And like, there has been somebody who just once said this shit to me in my office, and that guy went to college with me, so people might know who this is. So anyway, yeah. So I initially, had been planning to do this, one by one. Like, I was initially planning to drop this EP in February, and then I planned to drop another EP, somewhere around June. Then I had a plan for some EP to be dropped in around Halloween or before that. Then there was supposed to be an EP in November, and finally during around this time, before 31st, I was supposed to drop 31st of December. I was supposed to drop, my year 2020 and a whole completion album and all that shit. And we know how much of that happened. So yeah, that is that. I mean, I did drop an EP. Although I don't, now when I look back at it, I felt like, I just rushed the whole project. I could have taken more time. But then again, I had no idea what I was doing. I actually had no idea what I was writing for. Like, I was in such a dark place at that moment. I was just trying to put out music just to, have quantity. I didn't give a shit about quality of the music. I was just putting out the quantity. So yeah, after that, when the EP finally got dropped, I had my own personal shit. I had a relationship of, at that point, 2.5 years. That was, just, it was kind of, bubbling around like shit. Was sometimes, some days things were really great, some days things were really bad. And yeah, so eventually, like, I did a lot of songs during my lockdown. I in fact made another EP during the lockdown. I was supposed to do a show with my friends. Like, I even thought of the name for that. It was supposed to be called something which I don't think I should be, name dropping, just in case somebody else takes that idea. But yeah, I was supposed to do that. What else was there that I planned? There was supposed to be a cipher. That never happened. That never came to exist. I did use the words that I wrote for the cipher in some other song. I'm still looking for somebody to feature on that song. So yeah. What else? Yeah, so I eventually dropped my EP on 24th of July, and that's when, Logic dropped his last album. And due to my EP and all that stuff, I was not able to listen to that like that project, Logic's project. But now when I do, it hurts. It really hurt. Like, I feel it. I feel the place where he's coming from, the dark place. In fact, the song "The Dark Place," it is one of my favorite songs at this point. So yeah, there is that. So eventually, after the EP was dropped, at that point, the lockdown started to, they started to, you know, pull up the lockdown, and we started the unlock, as they used to call it. So during the unlocks, I used to go with my father to his, you know, to his office. So although I felt like, that was torturous at this moment, because I had to wake up at 6, then I used to get ready, then I used to go to Bijnor with him. We used to be over there. I used to stay in the car. It was fucking June and July, so shit was hot as fuck. So either I had to be in the car, or I had to go to his office. So I used to be that was really uncomfortable. But to be honest, now I feel like it was much better than what I have right now. Alright, at that point I had time. During those time I used to write words, like verses. I used to write songs at that time. I used to record songs at that time, and I had much time at that. I did use very well, but I could have made more of it. Sometimes I feel like it. So yeah, then finally, in August I got a job. and I'm really privileged to have a job in such scenario. When half the people don't even have job. My friends are there. I have a few friends who are struggling to get a job, and I have a job, so I'm really blessed to have that, privileged to have that, in fact. So when they started, you can't just juggle two balls at the same time. You can't, row two boats at the same time, as they say in Hindi. So I've been slacking off in music, and recently I tried to write verses, and I'm not able to. Then more of it, I started to, when the shit, when the workload started to increase, it was at that time when, my relationship ended, and during the same time I also lost my dog, and I was really close to him, Steve. I actually named him. I remember, when he was so small that he could, actually fit in my palm. And then came a time when on his, you know, hind legs, he was as tall as me, and he stood, and I'm 6. So I was really close to him, and that shit really hurt. That really bummed me out. The fact that I was not there when he died, and as I mentioned earlier, my father's health. So I was really, I really needed somebody to be with me, and it was at that moment when me and my girlfriend broke up. So it was a relationship of finally 3 years when we ended it. Irony was I was planning to make a love, you know, something dedicated to her, for completing her 3 years. It really hurt me, and all that shit, when put together, all that, all that thing that led me into more depression, more anxiety, to such a point where I started to drink. In fact, I can show you bottles that I have. I just have them as a souvenir, like something I should be proud of. All these bottles and all that shit, I still have them. So I started to drink a lot. It affected my health, and mentally I was already, in a fragile state. So yeah, I don't even know what to say at this point. So it has been quite hard. So I, yeah, I actually I led myself to substance abuse. I led to the point where I was, and I kid you not, drinking so much, like I drank half a bottle while making Maggie. It hardly takes fucking 5 minutes, 10 minutes at most, and I poured a couple of, like a couple of, neat in my glass before I started making Maggie, and by the time I had Maggie in my plate, half of the bottle was done. This was the pace at which I was drinking. So yeah. So recently I started to, feel like I should need to, I need to get all this shit together. I need to get myself together. I've been trying to get mental, some sort of help. I've been trying to find therapists, but I personally don't even have time to consult a therapist. Also, recently I started to think that I actually don't have what it takes to, end my life. And the more I thought of it, the more I started to realize that I do. And things went so bad that I am right now suicidal. And I just went from being that person who doesn't want to live but doesn't want to die either, to somebody who thinks, what if I leap off building? Will I fall and die? Will I start to fly? I mean, I don't know. This is something that is back in my mind. Whenever I see a tall building, I always imagine, like, what if I jump from here? Will I be able to lift off myself and levitate? Maybe it's just me metaphorically telling myself I need to pull up myself to start flying myself. I need to pull some effort, because recently I've been thinking, I actually had been thinking to make this video for quite a while, and I always used to be like, why is this video not done? Until today morning I realized it won't be, this shit won't just pop up automatically. I have to make it on my own. So yeah, anyway, I would like to end this to with a happy new year. I believe it's midnight. I don't know. So yeah, happy new year. Stay safe, stay home, and please wear a mask if you're going out. Maintain a social distance. Also, I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. Like put. I'm not able to make music, but put out videos on this channel. So just let me know if you want me to put a video or something, and what do you want me to make a video about. So yeah, take care. Bye. Happy New Year. Peace.